So I wanted to make a video about, it's kind of like a biblical feminist video, okay? And I'm going to be talking about, nudity and stuff like that, and what it means to be clothed properly, and what it means to be not clothed, okay? It's about feminism, balanced feminism and unbalanced feminism. I want to talk about some controversial Bible passages, like when Paul says women can't teach. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, yeah, so this is talking about biblical feminism and not biblical feminism. So I've been reading the book of Proverbs, and I've been rereading it, and there's a whole bunch of Bible passages. It's really about, like, women wearing crowns, women wearing, jewels. There's a whole bunch of, but God usually is talking, he usually says that wisdom is your crown, sensibleness is, be clothed in sensibleness. Be smart about how you look and dress, okay? And there's good and bad Bible passages. There's good things, there's warnings in it, okay? It tells women what to do and what not to do, basically, okay? And clothe in strength, cover your body, And then there's this really interesting Bible passage, and I want to talk about it. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout is a fair woman which is without discretion. Alright, so we're going to talk about that. So this is comparing a woman wearing a nose ring and a pig wearing a nose ring, okay? So what in the world is going on here? Okay, it's comparing a woman to a pig, because God is talking about a bunch of things. Pigs are an unclean animal, but pigs, they look naked, right? They look like they don't have any clothes on. So this is talking about a woman who doesn't have any clothes on. But she has one thing on. She has a nose ring. She has a ring on her nose, okay? So you have to go into why animals wear nose rings. They wear rings on their nose so they can be taken away, okay? So they can be hauled off or used, okay? So this woman doesn't have any clothes on, and she's ready to be used, okay? Do you get where I'm going with that? She's all ready to go for you, okay? Like in a very bad way. She doesn't have any clothes on, and she's ready to be hauled off. It's like kind of like finding a horse already saddled, or a car unlocked with a full tank of gas with the keys in it, okay? It's all prepped for you to take and steal and take away, alright? It's all ready for you to take it away, okay? And that's what's going on, alright? And it's not good, because she doesn't have any clothes on. And so how did she get this way? She did it, you could say she did it to herself. You could say other people inspired her to do it, okay? But we're going to talk about that, okay? So, we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about the current feminist. We're going to talk about current feminism right now. So in current feminism, they really preach about, we can walk around naked if we want. We can run around the world with no clothes on. Okay, it's my body, my choice kind of situation. You can't tell us what to wear. And then they get mad about the, people who started the Bible, because obviously God needs you to put clothes on. And, they're like, you're being anti-feminist if you tell us what to wear. Okay, look, I know what you're getting at. So, they want to walk around wearing whatever they want. They want to walk around with just bras on, basically. There's a problem with that. I understand what you're going at. You want to say that you can walk around like that and nothing's going to bad happen to you, okay? In a perfect world, you should be able to walk around with no clothes on and have nothing bad happen to you, okay? But we don't live in a perfect world. This isn't the Garden of Eden, okay? We don't live in a perfect world. If you walk around with no clothes on, someone's going to take you away, okay? Something bad is going to happen to you. If women keep walking around with no clothes on, the probability of something bad happening to them is going to go up and up and up, correct? It reminds me of the Garden of Eden, okay? They're right. In a perfect world, you should be able to walk around how you want and not worry about anything. You should leave your kids outside without being watched. You should leave your doors unlocked if you're in a perfect world. We don't live in that perfect world, okay? And it reminds me of the Garden of Eden. They are walking around with no clothes on, and it was fine. But there's a snake out there, okay? There's a snake out there. So God told you to put clothes on right away, all right? There's a snake in the loose. The reason why God has rules about what you wear to wear clothes is because he's trying to protect you, not take away your feminism. Okay? You're walking, this woman is walking bait. That's what God is trying to tell you. She's walking bait, and because she decided to dress like that, or it's because her husband told her to dress like that, right? Or it's because her friends told her to dress like that. Okay? You are sending women out to the wolves if you tell them it's okay to walk around naked. Okay? Because guess what? We live in a very dangerous world, and you running around with no clothes on at a bar every single night, is the chances of something bad happening to you are going to go up, not down. Okay? And this is why God says he protects you. There's rational explanations, right? If you're a really good Christian, you're not going to be at a bar in the middle of the night, okay? Or half naked, running around, getting drunk at bars every night. Because that's where all the bad things happen to women. You know what I'm saying? Alright, did your acceptance of Jesus Christ protect you from that world? Did he protect you from that something bad happening to you? Yes, he did. Because you were in a proper place and wearing proper clothes at the right time, okay? I was there at the wrong time, wrong place. Well, you were there because you wanted to go there, okay? And it's so messed up because women, the feminists are like women for women, okay? Women are supposed to fight for women. And you're not fighting for women. You're setting them up. You're helping Satan and the snake set other women up for something really bad happening. Okay, the devil is real, but you're the devil. Okay, you carried on that torch of spreading the fact that you should walk around, but you should walk around with no clothes on in the middle of the night whenever you want. And then when something bad happens, it's like, well, yeah, okay, and I know they're gonna be like, well, you asked for it. It's asking for it. No, it's not fair. The ends don't justify the means. I'm not saying that you deserve something bad happening to you. But people don't have any, they're unbalanced, or they don't listen to any rational thought. Okay? People will kill you over a $5 bill. Okay? The ends don't justify the means, but you can do stuff to protect yourself. Okay? It's like organizing a protest to say, I'm gonna promote unlocking your doors and leaving your car running with the keys in it. I promote that. That would be ridiculous. That would be not very smart. That's because this isn't very smart. It's not smart. Okay, you're not being wise. And if you have the Holy Spirit, and you're proactive in your own protection, okay? If you're a Christian, you're not going to be dressed like that, okay? So the chances of something bad happening to you are going to go down, all right? Because you're not going to be at the bar every night, getting drunk, walking around naked anyway. So, yeah, all right? That's how God rationally protects you from things, because you're proactive in your own covering, okay? He doesn't just supernaturally fight off demons for you all the time. You do it, too, okay? By wearing clothes and being righteous, okay? And here's another thing. Why do women... And here's another thing. This is what feminists say. Well, I don't do that for other people. I do it for myself. That is such baloney, okay? You're doing that for attention, okay? You do that for attention, and then when you get the wrong attention... It's not your fault. It is your fault. If you're gonna walk around like this or dress in a certain way, you're only gonna attract a certain type of person. Like, duh. Okay. And it causes problems. If you're gonna walk around all over the place with no clothes on, okay, you're gonna be causing problems with everyone around you. All right. Men are gonna look at you, obviously. All right, and then who knows? That man could be with his girlfriend or wife, and then they're gonna get into a fight, and the whole thing could have been avoided if you put some clothes on, right? And it's almost like sometimes women want that to happen, and it's so stupid because feminism is supposed to be women helping women, right? But all you're encouraged to do half the time is you're encouraged to steal another woman's husband or boyfriend. Like, you're actually encouraged to do that. How is that feminist? How is that helping another woman by encouraging other women to go steal another woman's husband or boyfriend? That's ridiculous. It's not feminist. It's evil. It's not feminism. It's anti-feminism. You're causing fight between two women on purpose. A reason why some women dress like that and walk around like that is because they feed off of the chaos. They're vipers, okay? They're just as evil as the snake in the garden, too, because they actually feed off of causing problems between relationships. They like it. And it's so messed up because you're actually encouraged to do it in the media. You know, it's about feeding off of the chaos, and that's evil. Okay, so we're going to talk about, you know, there's these controversial Bible passages, and people look down on these Bible passages, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so, you know, it does say, wives, honor your husbands, right? Honor your husband. Follow what your husband says. Okay, we're going to talk about that. First of all, you have to read the whole Bible and balance everything out. Okay, if you just take one line out of the Bible and run with it, it's going to sound pretty bad. Okay, yeah, okay, women should follow their husbands. That's only under the assumption that your husband has a relationship with Jesus, okay? That's God of the Bible's version of following your husband. If your husband has a really good relationship with Jesus and God has given that guy the authority of your family. Because, and even if that guy has a good relation and he's a good Christian and he has a relationship with Jesus, he's not going to be mean to you anyway. He's not going to just be bossing you around for no reason, okay? And God uses the parallelism. There are lots of religions that say, like, you know, honor your husband, do whatever your husband says. But the interesting thing is, God has not given these men the authority over their wives, okay? That is why when you get married, it says the priest or the preacher will say, by the authority invested in me, I now pronounce you man and wife. But the God of the Bible has not given someone outside of Jesus the authority to do anything. If you don't have a relationship with God and Jesus, God has not given you the authority over your wife or anyone. I'm not kidding, okay? The God of the Bible's version is if you believe in Jesus, okay? Because if you're not, you're going to be mean to your wife and you're going to beat her and you're going to do very horrible things because they aren't directed by God. The God of the Bible has not given you authority to do anything, all right? I'm not even sure if your marriage is even legal in the eyes of God. I'm not kidding, because you don't believe in Jesus and God, but you got married, but God didn't give you the authority to marry her, all right? So you actually don't have the authority to do anything to anyone. So, okay, and so you have to remember the world is not perfect. Let's talk about the Garden of Eden. There was a hierarchy in the Garden of Eden. Okay, there was Adam, the man came first, okay? Because he is the one that had the relationship with God first. And then he was allowed to have a woman, okay? And then they were allowed to have a child, okay? In a perfect world, that's supposed to happen. The head of the house becomes born again. They become a spiritually grown-up person, man. And then they have the authority to spread God's word to a woman, and then the woman becomes married, and then they both together may produce children. Okay, this is talking about spiritual children and stuff like that too. Okay, once you have a relationship with God, God gives you the authority to keep going, to carry on the torch. Okay, but that's in a perfect world. You're right. It should be the man, and then the man and the woman together make a baby. Okay, but there's stories. There's stories in the Bible where it says God has given the woman the authority over the man, and I know people are going to get all mad about that. That is in the book of Judges. There was a woman who was in charge of all the men. Okay, why? Because the men didn't have a relationship with God. Their relationship with God was failing. Okay, that's why there's stories in the Bible of women being prophets. There's stories in the Bible of women. Deborah, she was a queen. She was basically the queen of Jerusalem. I think people forget about that. Okay, in the Old Testament, there was a woman who was in charge of the Israelites. Okay, the Old Testament Israelites gave women much authority. The person who has the best relationship with God is the head of the household. And it's so funny because Deborah had a husband. She had a husband. Was he evil? No. I'm not saying he was evil, but why didn't God anoint him to be the judge, the head of the household? Because her relationship with God was probably closer to his, so guess what? God anointed her the judge. Same thing in the book of Esther. The book of Esther is a story about a queen and a king, and obviously God was giving Esther the authority over the man in the relationship. He was a Persian, so obviously she had the connection to God, so God was giving her the authority over the man. The whole story is about her authority over him. She was literally telling him what to do, and he was doing it too, okay? And you should learn from that. If someone has a spiritual authority over you, even if it's a woman, you should listen to her. And of course, it's the other way around too, okay? If some guy has a closer relationship with God, you can listen to him, okay? And sometimes it's not the man, okay? That is why in the Bible, there's a woman in charge of everyone. There's men in charge, okay? Then there's a woman, and even in the Bible, the child is in charge. There's a child who becomes king because sometimes a young person has more relationship with Jesus than the adults do. Okay? Then then God has given that person the spiritual authority over the family. I'm not kidding. If your child is a Christian and your parents are not, that child has more authority over you than they do. Okay? It's because in a perfect world, it's supposed to be the man, but that we don't live in that world, okay? Some women have more of a connection to God than men do. So God gives women the authority over the man. It says that in the Bible. And Jesus said it. In the eyes of Jesus, everyone is the same if they have a relationship with him. Okay? It's not just about men bossing women around, because the Bible says that you're not reading all of the Bible passages. You're not reading the story, okay? In the Bible, there's men who become rulers over Jerusalem. There's a woman, okay? And then there's a child, because it's based on how close you are to God. The person that's closest to God gets to be the boss of the family, okay? And sometimes it's not the man. And there's a woman who in the Bible who performs a circumcision, which is supposed to be done by the priest, right? There's a woman in the Bible who performs a circumcision. It's Moses' wife. Moses' wife, it says she threw their son's foreskin in the dirt, okay? Because Moses wasn't around, and so she had to do the circumcision, okay? Because Moses wasn't around at the time. So she had to do it. Did God give her the authority to do that? I think so. Okay, if there's no man around, and there's lots of messaging that if there's not a guy around who doesn't know Jesus, you're it, woman. Okay, you're in charge, because the men are supposed to be, but guess what? We don't live in a perfect world, and men aren't doing it. If the men aren't doing it, you have to step in. You have to step in and take the ground. All right, and we're gonna talk about that because that is the current situation. Okay, we're gonna talk about. Moses' wife had to perform the circumcision, but she wasn't happy about it. He was supposed to do it, but she had to do it. But she wasn't like, yay, I get to be like the man in the relationship. Wasn't like happy, okay? Okay, so we're going to look at the current problem right now. In the church, in Christianity especially, it's mostly women in Christianity. Okay, percentage-wise. It's mostly women. Men are becoming less religious altogether, but they're really becoming less religious in Christianity. And so the women are more religious and more Christian overall throughout the whole world than more than men, okay? And I know what people are going to say. Some women are going to be like, women rule the world. No, that isn't the attitude I'm trying to portray here. This is sad. You shouldn't be happy that men are falling behind. You shouldn't be like, go good, yay, women rule. No. Okay, you should do something to elevate them back up, not push them back down, okay? That's why Moses' wife was mad about it. She wasn't happy about it. It's not something that should be celebrated. It's something that's sad, not happy, okay? This is a dire situation, not something to be celebrated. Like, yay, women rule! No, that's not what I'm talking about, okay? And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to explain to you why I think men are not very interested in Christianity, okay? It's because men like being more dominant, so that's why they're probably going to Islam more, okay? Men like being dominant. They like being the boss. And again, these religions are only going to attract a certain type of man, okay? In Islam, they're in some of these, even in current Judaism, they're pretty misogynistic. But some men like that, okay? They like being misogynistic. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with you telling your wife what to do if you actually care about her and you're actually worried about her, like God is. Okay, but if you just like being bossy, that's why these religions are attracting certain types of men. Okay, they're flocking to Islam and stuff because there's something wrong with them. All right. Another problem is it's got to be the sex thing. Okay, it's got to be the sex thing. Men are not going to Christianity because this is how they don't want to give up their sex. This is how the devil gets people. He gets them from both ends. Okay, he has a double-edged sword. On one minute, he says, well, don't worry about being a Christian, because if you're not a Christian, you can have sex whenever you want. They don't want to give up that. They don't want to give up thinking that they can't have a bunch of sex with a bunch of different women. They don't want to give it up. But on the other hand, this is how the devil always gets you. Most men, when they think of Christianity, they think of Catholicism. And in Catholicism, they say you can't have sex at all. Okay? You know what I mean? This religion teaches that if you want to be really, really, really close to God, you are not allowed to have sex. And that's how that gets them again. So then they really don't want to be Christian. Okay? God isn't promoting that you can't have sex at all to be really close to him. That's not even biblical at all. This Catholicism scares men away from all Christianity, okay, because they don't want to be told that they can't have sex at all. That's ridiculous, and that's not biblical. So it scares them away in two different ways, okay, because they don't want to be told that they can't have sex all the time, but then on the other hand, they're told they're not allowed to have sex at all, okay, so that scares them off, okay. So if you're a man and you're watching this and you're interested in Christianity, do not listen to this church. You're allowed to have relations with your wife, of course, but no, you can't have sex with whoever you want, okay? God isn't saying that sex is altogether bad and you can't have it at all, okay? Like, that's what this religion teaches. Like, if you want to have a really close relationship with God, you can't even have a family. It's like, that's bull, okay? It's bull. It's not biblical at all, all right? And I'm going to bring up one more thing. So I wanted to bring up the women can't teach thing. Okay, this is like one of the most controversial Bible passages when it comes to feminism. Okay, so Paul says women can't teach. Okay, and then Timothy says it too. He says something about women can't have to be quiet in the church. Okay, all right. First of all, this is what happens when Christians don't study. Okay, and it's so funny because when people see this, like a regular person sees this, they think that Paul's talking about like women can't be like teachers, like actual teachers, like in high school, like math and science and stuff. Okay, no, this is false prophet stuff. It's talking about teaching religious stuff. It's not talking about math and science. People are so ridiculous. Okay, this is talking about religious stuff. It's not talking about women aren't allowed to teach math and science. It's like, that's not what's going on here. He's talking about prophets. Women can't be prophets, okay? Okay, first of all, that's not true. There are prophets in the Bible. Women who are prophets in the Bible, okay? And you have to go back in time, and you also have to see who Paul is talking to. Paul isn't making a reference to all women. He was talking, this letter was to the Corinthians, obviously, and this was Greece, right? So when he was saying women shouldn't teach, he was probably making a reference to the Oracle of Delphi, because that's what was going on in Corinth. There was a woman, there was a prophet, a false prophet woman in Corinth, in Greece, okay, who was teaching people a bunch of really bad religious stuff. But she wasn't just teaching people religious stuff either. She was teaching people a whole bunch of stuff. She wasn't just a Greek problem either. Everyone around the known world at the time was going to her for advice about other things too, like about how to grow crops, which war they should pick to fight, and other stuff. She was teaching the world a bunch of garbage. So Paul didn't mean all women. He wasn't talking about women in his own faith. He was talking about the Oracle of Delphi because this letter is to the Corinthians. And then in that area, the Oracle of Delphi was tearing things apart. He didn't mean all women. He was talking about the Oracle of Delphi. And I already talked about the Oracle of Delphi in this video. Okay? And I'll probably bring her up again in greater detail. And the reason why Paul couldn't outright say the Oracle of Delphi is because he would have been killed if he just said her name. Okay? He was messaging that it was obviously her, but they couldn't just say the Oracle of Delphi is a wanker. Okay? Because then he would have been killed. They would have been killed. It's the exact same reason why Jesus couldn't just call out Caesar or the Pharisees right away. Okay? Because he would have been killed too early. Okay? He couldn't call them out by name yet because he would have been murdered sooner. Okay? The same thing with Paul and Timothy. They couldn't just say the Oracle of Delphi is evil, don't listen to her. They had to say, oh, a woman should be quiet in the church, and a woman can't teach. It was obviously talking about her, because she was a huge problem. Alright? And I'll probably bring that up another time. So when it says women can't teach, Paul was probably talking about the Oracle of Delphi. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to bring up this one last point. Okay, so, there's this woman who, she has that nose ring on, and she's doesn't have a clothing. Okay, and this is obvious about real life situations. Okay, because someone can take you, like an actual person, evil man, or someone can take you in real life. But this isn't just talking about that. This is talking about when you die. Okay, so if you keep doing stuff like this, if women keep telling other women not to wear clothes and basically to act ungodly, so you are going to get picked up by something. And trust me, when you die, you're going to get picked up by something. And it's not just going to be some guy, it's going to be the demons, and it's going to be hell, and it's going to be the devil who's picking you up. Okay? You're going to be hauled off to a really, really bad place where the horrible things that happen to you will never end. Okay? It'll never stop. So do not listen to these women. These women are setting you up for your demise on earth and in real life after you die. Alright? Alright, so please think about this stuff, guys, and thank you.